Hey guys, really appreciate all the support you guys been giving me on YouTube recently. I've been having a ton of fun in season 9 and hope I can just keep coming out with videos to help you guys learn this game. If you guys want to use code Leon to check out with Focus, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you guys want to go to my Nexus link and support me with buying some yemas, I'd greatly appreciate it. Love you guys. So let's go over the biggest patch Smite has ever had. Bigger than no boots, bigger than the consumables, than combat blink and whatnot. The biggest patch ever. I miss you too, John. How you doing, man? Thank you so much, Dark. Really appreciate it. The biggest patch notes ever. Obviously, Slipknot is awesome. These skins look pretty sick, in my opinion. I'm definitely going to be getting this Raijin one. There's so many chalk ones. Oh, they're like upgrades? Like they upgrade? Will they change, I guess? Yeah, this is bigger than no boots. Okay. Well, these are awesome skins. Obviously, I'm all about the skins, but we're here. All right, the adventures are pretty sick, chat. The adventures are back. They're adding like the old map, a bunch of classic conquests, a leaderboard. You know, a lot of cool stuff. This is definitely very positive for the game. All right. Let's start. Let's start with this. Let's start before we even read anything. I have scrimmed on this, right? I have scrimmed on this already. And I've played, so I already have opinions about it. But I am going to go... I'm not going to say any opinions. Not one opinion am I going to say. I'm going to say strictly facts about what I'm going to read to you guys right now. These are a lot of changes, guys. So you guys are going to have to be here for a while. There's a lot of things to absorb. All right, so like I said, two things before I even start this video. One, obviously, I'm literally just going to say all facts, and then at the end, I'm going to say my opinion on what it is. And then second, why did they do this before a LAN? Masters LAN is coming up, and we have to play on this. Literally, all you're going to watch is literally not the best teams. You're just going to watch whoever can pick up on the meta the fastest, if there is a meta. So, kind of sucky to only have 2 weeks to play on this. And then go to LAN, but you know, whatever. That doesn't involve you guys, so I'm sure most of you guys don't even care. So it's fine. I just want to say that. All right. Classic Conquest. Remember, if you guys remember this old map, you guys are probably happy with this. I'm excited to play this with chat, and people in general. Slipknot event, awesome. Battle Pass looks awesome in my opinion. Quality of life, economy, alright, battle, general, okay, relic, nice, audio, cool. A lot of bug fixes. I remember the Shiva, the Naja finally. Let's go! Naja is playable. A couple other ones here and there. Game modes. Alright, here we go, chat. Here we go. You guys ready to absorb? Alright, so strictly facts, no opinions. Alright, Obelisk is taken out. Alright, so Obelisk is changed. Now becomes active at 6 minutes and is inactive for 6 minutes. Before it used to start at 4 minutes and have 4 minutes of inactivity. Offerings are now picked up by a team that scored the last hit to trigger the drop while Obelisk are active. So it's you literally attack it once. So you guys remember in the snow map there was fog, a little circle of fog that you can only see when you're inside. It's very similar, and so it's hidden inside. You have to go inside, hit it once, and then you go pick it up. So it's not a camp like before. Before it was an obelisk that would spawn again in the place of the camp, and it was harder to kill, and they would give you obelisk. So fact is, less farm right on the map. There's less farm on the map. Yes, I've scrimmed on this patch. I'm gonna really try to stay like I said, just strictly to facts. I don't want to say any opinions. When one team fills their obelisk, each team is awarded 10 XP and 10 gold for each offering, so very similar to before. Decreased from 15 XP, so it's less than before. Sorry, 5 less. The team that completely filled their obelisks is given an empowered trebuchet. I'm gonna call it a catapult because that's what it is. And that also provides a defensive buff aura to all nearby and ally in a radius. Has an aura that provides 15 magical procs, 15 physical procs within 30 feet of the radius. Does not buff itself. Okay, the catapult, trebuchet spawns near a friendly phoenix in the lane with the healthiest and highest number of enemy structures alive. So it's enemy, remember that. So you gotta look to see which lane is the healthiest. It's probably, you know, usually gonna be I would say probably right lane. I would think solo and mid go down usually before right, you know, depending on the game. But obviously switches up. Something that's pretty important to like know, right? Because if they get Obelisk, you have to know which lane is going to spawn in so you can start, you know, setting up or whatnot. The trebuchet will continue to push as long as an ally, minion, or god is within its radius. If an enemy enters its radius, it will stop attacking until the enemy is killed or leaves. So the only way to stop it is to be on top of it, right? It has like a circle around it, and so you have to be inside of it. So obviously your tank usually you want in there to stop it from attacking so you can kill it. The catapult trebuchet also launches flaming boulders at enemy structures and minions from long range outside of the tower aggro radius. Flaming boulders, 100 feet maximum range, 30 feet minimum range. Each time trebuchet launches a projectile, it consumes fire. So it's gonna kill itself over time, but it's gonna push a lot. So, this catapult is pretty cool. It adds another macro to the game. I always appreciate different things on the conquest map. This is cool. It's in place of the scepter, so scepter is dead now. Old Obelisk, the way it works, is kind of dead now. The base stats of it is 1700 base HP, 50 physical procs, 10 magical procs, so it's a bit harder to kill for physicals, obviously, with left clicks. Low magical procs of use, abilities, you kill it faster. 300 physical power, base stat scaling every 3 minutes of the game time, plus 300 health. Jungle. So the jungle initial spawn, delayed back harpies from 15 to 30, so it's delaying farm. All buff camps spawn now at 10, and you have to. So right now, I'm pretty sure there's 2 starts, but it's like they're fixed starts, right? Usually, high-res likes the game to be a certain way in the beginning of the game. Which I completely disagree with, but that's the way they look at the game, and I'm not making the game, so I can't change that, but they want a specific way rotation of the game. Center mini, 10 base XP, except mana camp, 100 base health. It's just to ensure quick clear speed for all rolls of the starting camps with the camp reward. Pretty much, so just ensure that you start one way, so someone else doesn't get an advantage or whatever. What are the starts? There's 2 starts. I think it's green, purple, speed to red, or back camp. I forgot right now. I don't want to say the other one yet. I don't know. Other people might. You'll figure it out though. It's not, since it's not really not that complex. It's pretty simple. I'll make a video on it maybe later. Mid lane, center XP camps, mid harpies, delayed respawn time from 120 to 150. This is a big one. So what does this mean? This is facts, right? This is facts. Delayed respawn time, right, by 30 seconds means there's 30 seconds less to contest, right? So less farm on the map, correct, right? We all agree, less farm on the map. And less stuff to fight for, correct? Okay, so let's go here. Dual lane XP, campsite, jungle, delayed respawn time. All right, so less to farm, less to fight for, correct? That's what they want. Dual lane side XP behind Gold Fury, delayed respawn by 60 seconds, 1 minute. They're also Nagas, so you were getting, if you invade the side camp, right, of dual lane, you get 4 gold. Right? 4 gold. You're wrong, Kilo, but I'm not gonna go into that. Like I said, I'm gonna go into facts. Delayed respawn time 128, so it's 1 minute less. 1 minute less of farm. These Nagas, by the way, when you invade one, right, on dual side, you get 4 gold for killing it. And now it's 1 minute later, so there's 4 gold. You can get 1 minute later. 3 minute spawn time. Question mark, but okay, yeah, no opinions, just facts. Solo lane side XP camp behind Fire Giant delayed as well, 1 minute. Right, these are Nagas. It's the same thing. It's the Alpha Harpy, but it's a Naga now. It's just a reskin, so same thing. Back Harpy XP camp has been removed. Now the green camp is where this camp used to be. Support buff camp. This camp has now been consolidated into remove. Alright, so pretty much what I just said. Now spawns 1 support buff Elder Harpy and 2 support. So it's a back camp pretty much, but the big Harpy holds green. 2-minute respawn. Late. This is one of the biggest ones. Like I said, not gonna say any opinion, just facts. Swordsman increased base HP from 420 to 650 base. Okay. Added 8 base physical protections, 4 magical protections, decreased attack speed for 1.1. So they don't do as much damage, but it's very, 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 very little the change. And they're significantly tankier. Significantly tankier. I would say maybe 20 to 30% tankier. Archers added, so they have less prots than the melees and decrease scaling damage for structures 80% to 60%, correct? So they hit less against towers. And then brutes add 4 magical protection, so it's harder for, you know, for example, Poseidon to clear early. Let's say if, you know, brute minion comes in, Poseidon 3-1s it. He's bound to live the 3-1 combo in the early game. Okay. Fiery Swordsman increased base health from 630 to 780. This is obviously when you get Phoenix. Buff camps, damage camp, red buff holder, base from 450 to 850 health. Okay, you know, I'm just putting emphasis just to show you guys how important these changes are, and then I'll give you my opinion later. Oh my, Dark with the 5 gifted sub, Cynthia, Vivi, Lim, Kinio, K Money. Welcome everybody, pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. All right, so let's continue. I'm so sorry, Dark. I'm definitely gonna yell your name and appreciate you in a second. I'm gonna try to keep my brain here. So 450 to 850 red buff, right? Increased magical protection, physical protection 9 to 20, so 11 more prots and then 14 more prots, and it does more damage. It also scales, so not only is all the base increase, but the scaling is increased every 3 minutes. Decreased XP reward per stack from 12 to 9, so it's less XP as the game continues compared to last patch. Decreased health per stack from 205 to 105, so a little bit less health per stack of scaling, but not much, only 10. Increased physical power per stack, so it does more damage. You know, per stacks. So every 3 minutes it does, so a little bit less, a little bit more damage, a little bit less health, and a little bit less XP. So let's keep that in mind. Red buff guards, base 105 to 80, less. They're have less base HP, more physical procs, more do more damage. Scaling 3 game time, decrease XP reward, so less XP. I'm pretty sure it's the same. Increase HP, yeah, a little bit. Wait, no, more HP. Yeah, more HP for the side minions. That's weird. And then increase physical power 4 to 6, so the same. So the side minions are just stronger now in general, tankier, and give less XP. Mana camp, blue buff holder, so same thing, literally same thing for all of them. This decreased XP reward made them you know, tankier. The base XP is a little bit higher, but the increase is a lot, like 35 to 9. So scaling, you won't get as much gold later, right? But same thing with the base HP, it goes up. The physical protection a little bit went from 9 to 6. Just a little squishier to physical to autos, any, you know, jungler. Increased magical protections 2 to 10. This annoys guardians a little bit more, right? Guardians. Increased physical power from 15 to 18. So it does a little bit more damage, right? The blue buff guards, pretty much the same exact thing. Decreased physical protection, increased physical power, hits a little bit harder, little squishier to physicals in the base in the early game. And then increased health per stack. The guards have more HP, less XP, and a little bit more damage. Pretty much it's the same thing for all of these. Yes, base HP, less XP, same thing. Okay, guys. Same thing for void cam. Same thing for green. Base, so plus 9 XP ward stack. Green buff guards, base 33. Yeah, same thing. Pretty much same thing all across the board. Okay. Oracles increased base health from 500 to 600. Not that they were already hard to kill, but now they're harder. But everything is harder to kill now. So increased physical power from 23 to 28. All right. Just a little bit. Just increasing everything. Everything is harder to kill, worth less XP, and does more damage and scales harder. And as it scales less in XP than the patch prior. The Naga decrease XP reward. So literally the Naga, right? The Naga that used to be the Alpha Harpy, correct? In dual lane, now gives less XP than it used to. Decreased gold reward from 33 to 26, right? And that's not including invaders. Decreased base health from 6, so it's a little bit easier to kill. XP cam, so back XP, Elder Harpy, increased base physical power, so more health, more damage, all the Harpies, the XP camps, the back camps. The Baby Harpy, decreased base health by 20, increased health scaling, so in the late game it'll be tankier, regardless. These are all like little changes, canceling delayed spawn timer. So another delay in spawn timers, less gold in the map, less XP. So I'm sorry, you guys are starting to understand what they're looking for, right? Like, less XP, so you get to level 20 slower, right? That's kind of what they're trying to slow down by elongating the camps. Okay, so they did this for all the camps, okay, right? Correct? So now we're going to go to towers and phoenixes. This is another big important change. Tier 1 tower. Increased power scaling versus gods from 110, so they hit gods infinitely harder. Increased power scaling versus minions, so they hit minions harder. Towers are just stronger. This is just the tier 1 tower. Added 30% pen to attacks. That is huge. And then increase the base health from 1750 to 2100 HP. So as you're starting to understand, the game is going to slow down significantly. The games are going to almost maybe even double in time. Okay? So I'll keep going, just going to say the facts, and then I'll give you guys my opinion. I have some very strong opinions towards these changes. Increased power scaling versus gods 110 to 135, so they hit harder. Tier 2 hits harder. Tier 2 hits harder versus minions. Tier 2 has the 30% pen. Tier 2 has 900 HP more than Tier 1. And decreased team gold reward, so you get less gold for Tier 2. Correct? Phoenix, increased power, so same thing, but now has 3600 HP, 600 HP more. Titan, increased base health from 8,000 to 12,500. 4,500 HP more on the Titan. Increased health gain per tower from 500 to 750, right? So you have 6 towers times 750, right? You're in a good spot to defend your Titan. Increased health gain per, obviously you never have 6 towers, right? Because obviously 2 of them have to be down. So let's say you have 4 towers, 4 times 750. What is that? 28 something, 3,100. So an extra 3,100 HP, obviously estimate. I just did the math on top of my head. Increased health gain per Phoenix from 1,500 to 2,250. So what does this stop? This slows down ending the game through one lane. That's what this slows down. Like I said, just facts. Gold Fury, increased health scaling from 250 to 275, just a bit more scaling in HP. Increased base magical power from 0 to 60. That's big. That's real big. Does a lot of damage. Increased scaling magic power from 0 to 4 per minute. That's big. Increased scaling physical power 4 to 5 per minute. This is big. Hits much harder, a bit tankier, correct? Burner of Riches, its ability now deals magical damage instead of physical. That's big. Basic attacks still deal physical damage. Increased debuff duration from 5 to 8 seconds. 8 seconds. That's big. Keep this all in mind, chat. Primal Fury, the other type of Gold Fury. Green Gold Fury. Increased scaling health from 250 to 275. Very similar. Magical power 0 to 70. 10 more. Scaling magical power 4. Very similar. Increased physical power 4 to 5. Very similar. Now deals magical damage instead of physical. But the basic attacks still deal physical. So it's the ability that deals magical. But it's going to hit harder as the game goes on. Increased debuff duration from 5 to 8. Same thing. Oni Fury. Pretty much same thing across the board. But the team gold reward from 115 to 90. So less gold from doing this. Increased base magical power from 0 to 70. Same thing. Burn Award, the ability now deals magical damage. We already know that. Increased debuff duration. We already know that. Okay, but boom. Increased base health from 2,500 to 2,750. That's okay. It's a bit tankier. Increased base magical power on 0 to 100. That is huge. I said that's huge because you guys are drinking if I say that's big, so we're using synonyms. Kappa Pride. Infernal Ritual, the ability that people have died to all throughout SPL this year. Now deals magical damage instead of physical. That's big. Basic attacks still deal physical damage. So keep that in mind. Blazing Haste, the Pyromancer effect. This effect can now be applied or refreshed by walking across your base gate switches. That's big. I like no opinions. Fire Giant, so pretty much you can refresh it and get to Fire Giant really fast and get to Gold Fury really fast if you're not walking down mid. So like usually what you can do right now is that you can, let's say for example, you have to clear a way of going into mid Phoenix. You could use Blazing Haste to do so, reset maybe if you like. If you don't even have to reset, then you can go through the door and it'll reapply the haste effect. So something interesting. Fire Giant, increase Fire Giant power scaling from 4 to 5 physical and magical power per minute. Increase max physical power from 214 to 235 at 20 minutes. Not as big as the Gold Fury change, just something pretty small. Towers and Phoenix is tier 1 tower increase. Wait. Is this the this is assault? Okay, we don't care about assault. Joust, slash, we don't care about those. But yeah, guys, the same stuff. Alright. Items. Decrease physical power from 2015. They're just butchering obviously warriors, right? They're just butchering warriors. Decrease, 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 warrior, 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 decrease, 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 warrior, 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 decrease, decrease, warrior, warrior, the gutting warriors. Decrease magical power under 70-55. The gutting celestial. Lotus, small change. Jade needed to get gutted. It got hurt, but not too bad. 300 HP, 30 physical prot, still pretty good. I mean magical power, sorry. Just nerfing, just re-nerfing everything, right? Just remember they're nerfing everything for the past 2 patches, so they're continuing all the nerfs across. They got a lot of complaints on tier 2 spell focus and Warrior's Bane having no stats other than flat power or flat power, whether it's magical or physical, and no added print. So they changed it to 5%. Not that it matters. Time to kill changes. Another really big thing to pay attention to. Every single god in Smite will receive the following changes. Every single god in Smite. Base HP by 40%. That's a very big number. Increase base HP per level by 5%. Increase base physical protections by 40. This is base, guys. Remember, base. You start the game with this. Okay? Increase physical protections per level by 8%. This is the scaling, and this is the scaling, and this is the base. So you're tankier in the beginning, and you're tankier in the late. A lot. Okay? Increase magic protection per level by 28%. Okay? This section will describe the min and max changes for each of these shifts across the guard. Squishy gods receive smaller increases than the tanky ones. Obviously, 800s are not going to scale the same as Emir would, correct? So, level 1 minimum buff is 145 HP, maximum buff is 209 HP. That is a huge change. Okay, level 20, it's not as bad, right? Because the max buff, the min buff is not too bad, right? It's only 100 HP at level 20, but the level 1 is ridiculous, okay? Physical protections, min buff 3.4, max buff 9.5. Obviously, if you're a warrior or if you're a guardian, if you're a hunter, that's how it scales, right? That's why it's saying minimum to maximum. Magical protections, all gods have the same. So all gods, so you see how these scale. These, depending on what character you are, it does not apply to this, right? Magical protections, all gods have the same. So keep that in mind. So a hunter is getting the same value as a warrior when it comes to the magical protections they're getting. So at level 1, now they have 8.65 prots. At level 20, they have 13.44, right? Naturally. So future updates 9.5 will prioritize the core goal, time to kill, whatever. All right, let's talk about gods now, right? This is crazy. I have a lot to say about this. Okay, gods. So they did some buffs and nerfs to gods. So Loki's laugh has removed audio. This is good. Serket got buffed. Third basic attack is now a cleave, so it helps her clear a lot. Decrease cooldown of 16 to 14. That's really good for Serket. Decrease pre-fire animation from 0.2 to 0.1. These are all really good changes for Serket. Does it make her top? No. It's just quality to life. Quality of life, in my opinion. Thor, oh my god, we got a buff. I'm gonna be real. These changes don't do anything, but whatever. So they're buffing stun duration, right, from 1 to 6. So it doesn't scale. You're talking about only the first only the first 3 have a 0.2 seconds more. With DR, it's almost like nothing happened. Nothing changed realistically, if you ask me, with the DR changes. Increased base damage from 100 to the late game, right? So he has an extra. It starts right here. The level 2, 3, 4, 5 is a little bit better, a little bit more damage on it, but still pretty low if you ask me. But it's some help to Thor. He needed all he could get. So let's continue. Increased bonus damage 30 to 40%. Small buff for X-Ball. Decreased mana cost from 60 to 80 to 40 to 60. Small buff for Rama. Increased attack speed from 30 to 50 to 40 to 60. So that's a pretty big buff on his 2. Rolling Assault, decreased mana cost, so just mana cost problems, small quality of life. But this is a nice buff. Makes Rama a bit stronger. Naja, increase the time before losing passives from 10 to 12 seconds. That's actually a pretty significant change. Increased protections gain landing from 20 to 40, so 30 to 50. Pretty significant change. Way tankier when she drops, so she doesn't set herself up for free kills, or him, sorry, like for Cuckoo or Poseidon or whatnot. Hercules got a CD buff on his Earthbreaker, so 12 seconds at max level, so it scales, so it's better as you level it. Terra, decreased cooldown from 15 to 13 seconds, big buff for her. She needs her 1 to be active. Decreased mana cost of Monolith from 60 to 100 to 60 to 80, just small quality of life. Sylvanas buff, increased cooldown reduction provided by picking up seeds from 0.25 to 0.5, strong. Decrease the cooldown of 14 to 12, strong, because that's Baba's Brew is a lot of her DPS, so it's pretty good buff for her. Increased physical power scaling from 60 to 70%, small buff, but something. Decreased magical protection debuff from 10 to 30% to 10 to 20%. Small nerf to ESET. Another nerf to Gilga for like the 40th time. Decreased physical power scaling of damage 40, so 10% on both, on the burst and the kick. Decreased movement speed where you're running to his hero's advance to 25% at all ranks, so it doesn't scale. So there's no point of leveling it outside of damage. A nerf to Artio, decreased max stacks from 8 to 6. It can increase cooldown both forms from 12 to 13. 12. So it's way worse early, but then it evens out late, but it's still worse all around. Increased base damage while prey from 40 to 160 to 35 to 155. Just a bit weaker, just hit all around on Artio. Cleo got hit again, got hit again. So 10 seconds on CD for her ult charge, and decrease the base damage on the ult by 240, 60. So the early and scaling all across till the end, it's weaker. Zeus, increased cooldown 10, 12. He got hit again, so Zeus might be in the ground now. So it's a long chain lightning CD. Decreased movement speed from 20 to 30% to 15 to 25%. Decrease attack speed, so just decrease attack speed and movement speed from his 2 and increase CD. We're done. Those were the changes. Those were the facts. I gave you guys just the numbers and the math on it, right? Now let's talk about my opinions and what will happen and what I think is going to happen and why I don't think a lot of these changes are good. And so how do you guys want to start with the pros or the cons? I'll let chat pick. Pros? All right. Don't worry. Pros will take very little. What are the pros of these changes? From scrimming on it and playing some casuals, well, not casuals. There were some in-houses. I played a couple in-houses. And scrimming. The pros are that everybody's tankier, so the late game team fights do have a little bit bigger of a skill cap. That is the only pro. That is the only pro that I have felt. So where before, like, let's just say like 18 minutes, right? 17 minutes, you're grouping for fire, right? Dodgy has, let's say Jotun's Hydra serrated. At that point in her build, if she 3-1s a mage, she will one-shot him, right? That doesn't happen anymore. So there is counterplay, a little bit bigger of a cap with counterplay because you're a little bit tankier. Now let's talk about the cons. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even trying to make jokes on why he said that. That's the only pro that I have felt. Actually, another pro that I'll say is that we have to learn I'm always pro learning new mechanics in the game, right? Which was, the new OB, the new Obelisk, and the new catapult is interesting. But the way you get the trophies is very brain dead. You literally, it's just a camp. That's not even a camp that you kill. It's just the little trophies all around that you walk up, you hit him once, he drops the trophy. So it's map control, right? It's like, can you cross the river? Can you cross to the other side to steal it? But you're not fighting over anything, realistically, right? If someone shows up before you, you're not gonna fight them because they're already there first, right? So that you're just gonna give it to them because they're just gonna hit it once and run away. So let's talk about the cons. So, like I said, right? All the changes they made are to slow down the game. Why? Why are they trying to slow down the game? Smite is not good to be slowed down like this. Why are you forcing such a slow game? Smite is not meant to be a slow game. Smite has very simple macro. The macro, Dota, it's okay for it to be a slow game because the macro and the map is so big, there's so much that can be done, right? But in Smite right now, there is times in the game that you will find yourself and ask yourself, what are you doing? What is there to do? There's nothing to do. Obviously, you can pressure red buff or whatnot, but the camps have been... all right, so let's do the math. The camps are longer, right? The camps have all been... all the camps take longer to spawn. Right? All the camps take longer to spawn. They're worth less gold, less XP, right? They're worth less XP. They're harder to kill. What is this? And the minion wave is harder to kill. So you're going to be spending most of the game trying to hit minions. You're going to literally sit in the first couple waves and you're going to be hitting the minions for super long. Smite, what is meant to clear minions, go fight for buffs, for pressure on map. Not meant to sit there and try to clear minions for, I don't know how long, depending on your characters. And now what does this do? It makes a comp where, Izanami strong. Any character that has insane clear is the strongest. Usually what happens in Smite, that's in the highest levels, that's usually what happens, right? Izanami becomes meta. Why? Because she can clear the way faster than anyone, and that creates pressure. But now that matters even more because nobody can deal with you can't play other characters. You can't play characters that can't clear. Artemis is not a character. Well, all those characters that can't clear waves well are not characters in this meta. Cannot play. You will sit there and left click minions for your whole game. Right? There's no engagements. If you look at Last Worlds, right? And the beginning of this, if you look at Last Worlds, right? There was no fighting. There was 20-minute games with 2, 3, 4 kills. That is not a healthy Smite. That is not a healthy Smite. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun to play. It's not fun to macro. It's not fun to shot call. Correct? So what did they do to change this? They added Obelisk. And Obelisk made it early game macro, type of feel to it. Correct? Okay, guys, we need to be at right mids because the double spawn of Obelisk is going to spawn, and this is 2 Obelisk. We have to fight this. This creates for engagement. Also, when you, as a support or even a jungler or whoever you are, you can steal Obelisk. It creates macro on the map. It creates opportunity. Let's say, for example, a support goes to blue buff to invade at level 7. You have now a counterplay where you can go to their Obelisk, right? Because before, you either force gold as a support or you can't force gold, right? Because you're level 7, so it's really rough to force gold like that. And then you have to follow the guy to blue buff. But now they created an opportunity to have some other counterplay on the map. Let me steal their Obelisk because their solo is, trying to give pressure to the solo side. Then what people complain about next is Obelisk was broken. Obelisk was boring. Very little people have said that, but there is people that say that. Obelisk was broken in the beginning. In the early beginning, it was broken. right? Too much gold, too much XP, and Scepter did too much. They fixed those things. They made it give less gold. They made it give less XP. Then they give Scepter less damage. And then it became very balanced. Before, you could die for an Obelisk, and it doesn't matter as a support. But then it became, well, if I die for Obelisk, they can get gold. They get a lot on the map. They can come back and steal all my Obelisk. So it became very balanced and very interesting and unique mechanic to Smite that is so beautifully played and enjoyed in the early mid game. But then they removed it. After balancing it to perfection, they removed it. Right? I don't know. I think that was a huge mistake. As a support, I had always something to do. Right? It was either I'm coming to left lane to get the wave, I'm going to help for left mid Obelisk, I'm going to steal their Obelisk, I need to help mid wave, right mids are coming up, I need to help him on blue buff, I need to help on green buff. All of this is gone. Camps are harder to kill, camps have longer spawn times, there is no Obelisk. Smite is not in a healthy spot when you're not fighting. If you're not fighting in Smite, then what the hell are you doing? Smite is not meant to be a long farm macro game. Even Dota and League of Legends are at their most boring when they are like that. So usually the goal is to get them to fight without snowballing. But that's the beauty. We did do that. The snowballing in Smite was actually fixed with the changes to Obelisk. If the support... Literally, if you get high pressure and you win your lane and you win mid and you fight an Obelisk and you get Obelisk and you steal their Obelisk, that is good. You deserve the Obelisk. You deserve the Scepter. You deserve that pressure. You created that pressure for yourself. But now there is no pressure. Now, one of the things you're going to feel the most in these changes is how damn tanky everyone is and the waves are. When you make everyone tanky and you make the waves really tanky, nobody's dying. The opportunity is taken away. You're not going to find any opportunities. It almost feels like, and like I said, I have scrimmed, so I'm not saying this off just reading. I've played this. It feels like you are in lane, and every time there's a small opportunity to fight, it feels as if it's the wrong play to fight there. Because they're so tanky. You're just going to get baited, and not only are you getting baited, but you're getting baited away from your farm because you're trying to fight. So the right play, macro-wise, is to clear the wave, then wait for the next wave, and then clear that until you group for an objective, and then you're probably going to stand there and poke each other because nobody can kill anyone because everybody's so tanky. And now what's going to happen is, more facts, is that healing is going to become stronger, correct? Healing's going to become stronger, hunters are going to be the best, mages are dead, and tanks are a bit better. So that's all I really have to say about this. If you guys have any questions, we can go back and forth with chat. I know I haven't talked to chat, but this is a lot. Another thing, actually, that I'll say now that I'm hovering is I didn't talk about these changes, which are really big. I'm sorry, this is the assault changes. The towers being very, very, very tanky is good. The Titan, them having 30% pen is good. There's one huge problem with the Titan. Let me find the Titan HP. Let me find their Titan. Let me find the Titan change so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, see right here. Okay. Where is the Titan change? Towers and Phoenixes.
Control F and type Titan.
Tower. Okay, right here. I'm sorry. I'm literally just scrolling over. Okay. There's a big problem. They made it 12,500 HP, and they made it health gain per tower. All right, so everything is higher, right? All the HP. This is the problem. Base. What does base mean? It means the Titan, as soon as you get into the game, is 12,500 HP. Right? And not including these. I'm not even going to include these. That means the game is guaranteed to go 35 to 40 minutes. Even if there's low killing. Because you can't end. Because the Titan is base. So let's say you're up 10,000 gold because you're that much better than the other team. it's still very, 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 very hard to end. That's a problem. So how do we fix this? It's one word. It's called scaling. It's called scaling. It should be scaling, right? So at 20 minutes, right? It's still considered, that's considered mid game, right? 20 minutes, I would say 18 minutes is considered mid game, like 15 to 20 minutes. At 15 to 20 minutes, if you have accumulated a 10,000 gold lead or 12,000 gold lead, the Titan should not be 12,500 HP. It should be 10,000 HP, right? So how do we fix this? Let's say 8,000. Let's say it's 8,000 HP at minute 5, right? 9,000 HP at minute 10. 10,000 HP at minute 15. 11,000 HP at minute 20. 12,000 HP at minute 25. 13,000 HP at minute 30. That is scaling. That will fix it, because you should be allowed to end the game if you have a significant lead. So what's gonna happen in Smite now? This is my opinion. This is what's gonna happen. Everyone's harder to kill, so nobody's gonna fight. The waves are harder to kill, so you have to focus on the waves. The Titan and the towers, the Phoenixes are harder to kill, and do more damage, so it's harder to push. So what you're doing is you're having less action but longer games. Less action but longer games. Chat, are you hearing this? Less action but longer games. Who in the fucking right mind would want less action and longer games? That is what you're shooting for. That's what if you do the math, that's what's gonna happen. That is not healthy for Smite. Do you feel you are less punished for engaging since everyone is a bit tankier? So from screaming, it feels that you don't want to fight. Like, it feels like if you're, usually the tanks, right? The tanks are out of position, right? Let's say a Sylvanas is passing through oracles, and you're trying to pick them, right? You in your mind, you're like let's say you have a Poseidon, right? You think you should whirlpool Kraken Sylvanas and kill him, right? But it's not gonna happen. Like, you think twice about it. You're like, damn, the wave is put, like, I'd rather get the wave, and it's gonna take us a while to get that wave. Like, the amount of time you have to clear wave and then go find a opportunity, whether it's oracles, invading red buff, or doing anything, it's so much smaller because the wave is so tanky. So you literally have to use if you're a mage, you have to use like 2 or 3 sets of abilities on the wave, and then by then the next wave is already coming. So, like, you have like 5 seconds to find a support out of position, but he's not. Especially in higher level, they're not out of position. So then you're just like, you have to go back to the next wave because it's already there, and then use all your mana, and then you have to reset because you have no mana. So mages are dead, right? Because mages can't clear mid waves. So now it's double hunter meta, right? And with double hunter meta, all you do is farm, and you never fight. Can you show text where they explain why the changes? Sure. Yeah, you can read it. So I'm gonna continue with you guys. So let's hear what you guys have to say, as you guys already heard everything that I have to say. I'm pretty sure I'll find something else in here, but I'll answer all your questions. Dark, like I said, thanks so much for the huge 5 gifted subs. Really appreciate it. Snowball. There's no such thing as snowball anymore. You cannot. It's the opposite of snowball. People use snowball too easily. Snowball is if you get a lead, you should be able to play with your lead. What's the point of getting a lead if you can't push it? I don't like the creep and Titan HP buff. I agree. I feel like relics will never be. All right, you have. Let me show you guys. You have 12. You have like 1100 HP on your Moja level 2 or 3. Yeah, I've talked to aggro and I've talked to people and voiced my opinions, but that's all I can do, guys. Like, I'm not gonna be mean, or I'm just gonna say what I think, and they take it. It's not my game. It's not. I have nothing to say. Yeah, I've been playing on the patch for a while now with the pros and scrimming versus them. But yes, mages are dead. Are ganks worth more with XP on camps worth less? No, because like I said, so when you go to try to gank, correct? So let's say you're Poseidon, level 4, right? Poseidon likes to go roam at level 5 with Kraken. You have to whirlpool the wave and one it and trident and left click for a while to clear the wave, right? Because you guys haven't felt this. You guys don't know. You guys see HP in numbers, but you guys haven't felt it. The wave is tankier. Take that. It's tankier. So I'm talking about whirlpool, level 4 Poseidon. Whirlpool, 1, trident. And you're left clicking and left clicking and left clicking. Correct? How much mana do you have? You're already half mana, right? So let's say you hit 5 off that wave and you're going to go left. You have a decision. You can rotate to left lane and try to crack on someone, or you can do left mids. But because you took so much mana and so long to clear the wave, the next wave is already by tier 1 or tier 2, right? So you have 5 seconds to get to left lane, or the other person has the opportunity to push your minions under your tower. So the answer is no. Usually you don't want to go for those plays. The right play, the right macro play is to go clear left mids with the last of your mana, and maybe you have sands of time and you're regenerating more mana and you have a mana pot, and then you go mid. And that's where double hunter kicks in, right? Because double hunters don't need the mana. Don't need to spam all their mana to clear a wave. They can sit there and left click it, right? Non-stop. And that's why double hunter is meta. And not only that, double hunter late game is infinitely better than mages right now, because mages don't burst the same way they used to. So if you guys want to keep asking questions, I can keep trying to hopefully answer your questions. It's because of Kins? No, because you could say the same about Reaver, right? You could say the same about Reaver, but no. Yeah, Kins is much stronger, no doubt, but it's not because of Kins. It's not, double hunter is not meta because of Kins. How much longer have your games been? A bit longer, especially the slow ones. Like some games it's 0-0 20 minutes, 18 minutes, maybe 1-2-0, 18, 20 minutes, 22 minutes. And then, you know what I mean? And even sometimes when we run it down, because, you know, we're scrimming, so like we're trying to feel the game out. We literally have 2 weeks to break down this meta and try to figure out what the hell is happening. So like we've had literally agreements with other scrims that we run at each other. Literally, it's the wrong macro, right? Because every wave is up, all the camps are up, but we just run at each other. And like, even then, it just feels like the wrong macro all the time. Exactly, Garfield. They had the right mindset by nerfing items. Feels like they should have just continued down that route. All right, so another thing. This actually brings me up to another thing, bless one. So they have nerfed items for 3 patches, right? Every item, every ability, almost. Now, I'm not going to say every, but most of them, right? You guys all remember that, correct? And now they increased all base HP and scaling HP. And they increased all base prots and magical prots and scaling prots. So I think they forgot that they nerfed everything and then they buffed that. I think those two things together, the games are going to be like, you're just... Alright, let me add one more thing to that. So, you guys, just make sure you guys remember. I know I'm talking in kind of dumb mode, but it's just a way to say it, because I know some people don't play Smite that often and need it broken down like this. 3 patches of nerf on all power, all damage, all base abilities. 3 patches. 1 patch of DR change to make it easier for you to get out of CC and harder to CC lock. And then 1 patch of buff HP, base HP, physical prots, magical prots. How the fuck do you kill a tank? You can't CC lock them because these DR to another world plus CCR. I'm not even gonna add CCR. How do you kill anyone? So my opinion, like when I look at this from the outside perspective, I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to completely zoom out of the game. I'm going to zoom out of all the patches, right? Let's zoom out of all the last 4 or 5 changes they've made, right? There's not even a zoom out. Fresh slate, just clean mind. When I think of Smite, I think of gods fighting each other and using these cool abilities from a top down. As a viewer of SPL, I want to see these gods used to their full potential, level 1 through 20, right? That's what I like to see. As a fan myself of the game, I like to watch that. Nobody wants to see these characters hit waves and go to camps, and then hit waves and go to camps, and then hit waves and go to camps, and then poke each other, and then hit waves and go to camps, and then hit waves and go to camp, and then go to fire, and then fight once, and then you just like I said, the only pro of this patch is that late game team fights have a higher skill cap. That is the only pro that I have really thought about, that I enjoyed, right? Because healing is better, because everybody's tankier, so you're not getting one shots, so that you can back and sustain, and it's just a slow, methodical push and pull, which is very interesting. So, like I said, they made a lot of aggressive changes. Which I appreciate, because I appreciate, aggressive changes. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I think it's always fun to learn. But I think they missed. They missed really hard, and they did too much of the wrong things. Like why did they make the camps? I don't understand the camps being worth less. I don't understand that. And making camps infinitely tankier and minions tankier. What's the point of that? I don't understand that. What is the math of this? Like, okay, you want to make team fights better, right? You want to make team fights better. That's fine. Let them have higher base HP. But just don't forget that you nerfed everything for 3 patches in a row. So just don't keep that in mind when you're buffing HP like this. But whatever. But why this? Why nobody wants to hit minions, bro? Nobody fucking wants to hit minions, bro. Nobody wants to hit minions. Nobody plays Smite to farm. Nobody does that. Nobody. And I'm a crazy person, because I love farming. Like, I love macroing properly to farm. I love out farming people. I love it. Trust me, I love it. I'm sure you guys have watched me play comp or play ranked, and I'm literally usually always ahead, or try to be ahead, and I'm always looking for the best farm route. But okay, so I have explained to you guys the competitive and professional and the competitive and pro aspect of the game. Let's talk casuals. Right? Let's talk casuals. Let's talk about these things, right? So, casuals are not going to end the game before 40 minutes. Right? Casuals are not going to end the game before 40 minutes. Can we all agree on that? The Titan's going to have 15,000 HP. The towers, where the fuck is this tower change? Increase power scaling versus gods by 35% on all tier 1, tier 2 Phoenix, right? 30% attacks to all Phoenix tier 2, tier 1. So not only is it amped 25% damage, it also has 30% pen. It also has increased HP. These casuals are never going to end the game, and they're going to be in a simulator for way too long. So I don't understand. This is not good for casuals, nor is it good for pros, for competitive. The only pro that I see for competitive gaming and pro gaming is that the team fights have higher skill cap. That's the only thing I keep coming back to, is higher skill cap in team fights, because you're not getting one shot, which is respectable. But none of these changes just make any sense to me in general. Like, I think when you look at it from a competitive and pro standpoint, you might get split decisions, right? You might see some pros say, hey, I enjoy, a slower paced game. And you might see some comp players saying, oh yeah, like, I don't like it. It's been pretty split today. I think a lot more people are leaning towards what I've been saying. If you look at Twitter, but it's like for me, it's like right now that I'm seeing, it's like 20% of people are like, oh yeah, fuck Obelisk. I don't like Obelisk. I'm glad it's gone. The other 80% are saying it was a fun mechanic and fun macro in the early game, and now the game is boring as fuck, which is exactly what I agree with. But then now when I think about the game in a casual standpoint, I just don't see how this is fun for casuals that don't give a shit about macro and don't give a shit about building items and don't give a shit about anything but fighting each other.